First and foremost, I hope everybody's doing okay. My name is Dr. Matt Metter, the designer and the creator of the LAIR framework and the designer of the LAIR AI Readiness Assessment Diagnostic. Okay. And so today we're going to focus on how to go through that diagnostic and what it means and what leaders are asking. Because I'm getting conversations or getting into conversations with leaders, and as we're having these conversations, one thing is pretty abundant. Okay, categorically, some institutions are ready. They're ready to scale. Okay, typically those individuals or those entities have toured around with it for the past several years, and maybe even longer than that. You keep in mind, we all kind of, well, not maybe we all, but there's this sentiment that this is something new. This has been around for quite some time. Generative AI is what has that freshness and where that newness comes from. So that's what led me here, is based off the conversations that I've had, being immersed into the environment, being out there in the field, listening to the conversations, addressing gaps where gaps may occur from a learning organization perspective, from organizational learning, sentiment, and foundation. So those 4 gaps were literacy, application, interpretation, and responsibility. We've got these wonderful tools that are out. No doubt wonderful. I use them on a daily basis, 24 hours a day if I'm up daily. It seems like I'm up for that amount of time. But what I'm running into is that not everybody has that same drive. Not everybody has that same yearn for wanting to know more about artificial intelligence. Same for in the organization. Some are more skilled at things than others. And so you have those varying degrees. So the LAIR assessment, this AI readiness assessment, was built on the notion, again, is an organization ready? Are leaders ready? And can they be mapped to literacy, application, interpretation, and responsibility? Hence the LAIR framework. So we're going to jump right on in. Let me share my screen and we will go directly to, we'll go share, and we will go to our site here. There we go. Now, you see the question: how ready is your organization to adopt AI responsibly? Fair question. We have a little bit of verbiage up here, but look, this diagnostic, free diagnostic, mind you, it was designed that way to get you thinking about these moments, to get you thinking about literacy, application, interpretation, and responsibility. I call this quadruple loop learning. Not a lot of literature about that out there, but it's growing. And of course, we're adding to that body of knowledge. So a lot of leaders have asked, Matt, where do we start? Well, why don't we get a snapshot of what you look like first? Let's see where your organization stands across those 4 domains: literacy, application, interpretation, and responsibility. At that point, we can decide whether you need a deeper executive review. Okay? This is only supposed to take 7 to 10 minutes. So first things first, you're going to fill in your, obviously your name, fill in some descriptive information. I need an email address, an organization, a role, industry, and of course an organization size. So for this, I'll just use myself, and I'll use my name, and we will use info@Metter. Organization is MBD LLC. And I'll use that. Industry, we can say consulting. And for size, this is actually a drop down. I can say 1 to 50. Now, we actually get into the context here. Just a couple of questions or prompts. That way we can drill down and go from there. So primary AI disruption focus. So as we're building this out, what is the organization's principal issue when it comes to disruption? All right. What's your AI disruption? And where do you want it? What's your focus? What would you like for it to do? Okay. So whether that be AI transformation or workforce change, leadership transition, crisis response, compliance or policy change, technology adoption, or even other, we can make it very, very granular. And that may be what it is. You may not want to tell, exactly what it is. You may just throw other out there. We'll use technology adoption. Now, what's your current maturity rate? All right. Where are you at along your timeline? Are you exploring? Have you started? Are you currently piloting? Are you scaling it? All right. Are you one of the that 80 to 100% scored AI readiness? Okay. You've scored 80 to 100%. Are you scaling? Or are you simply stuck? Okay. So in this instance, I'll say we are currently piloting because we've got several pilots that are out there. And what's your primary concern? So this is where, we've got a lot of leadership gaps because things are moving so quickly. The varying skill and the observation structure of your middle managers and lower line managers maybe picking up different signals, maybe picking up strengths when they're weaknesses, and vice versa. So we'll say systems alignment, since this is a technology adoption. And where does the impact fall? Because it has to deal with technology adoption, it's not an individual deal. It's not even at a team level. This is an organizational level. But you have to have these two to get here. So in this instance, this is system-wide. We'll say it's all three. So, final details to wrap this up. We cover some final details. What is your organization's biggest AI challenge today? And we can just simply say, hey, look, Matt, this is really moving quick, and we just don't have an idea of where to begin. And that may be the case. That may be the case. You might have to have some support. And that's where we can add some tremendous value. You might need that support. From this vantage point, you're going to acknowledge that, hey, you didn't put any sensitive information, any confidential or personal information. And of course, your responses are only going to be seen by the Learning AI Institute. It's going to generate you an AI readiness profile, and we'll go from there. So let's hit generate your AI profile. And let's see what Matt's organization does. Fair enough. For my responses, you can see for yourself. Now notice that score that's up there. Now, folks, I want to talk about the score, okay? The score is important, but that's not all that it is. The push behind this is that organizational leaders understand what's going on. There's room for improvement. With this score right here, you can see where it's already listed my AI readiness level. And I am in a developing stage. Interesting enough. We are approaching are emerging phases. But notice here, the real momentum is in places, but uneven understanding and execution will slow progress until the gaps are addressed deliberately. Are you ready for something like that? Are you ready to address those gaps? We can help there. Noticing this, looking at my snapshots again. This I use my organization as the canned entry here. Okay. What your strongest point is? Responsibility. 6 out of 10. Got a foundation to build on. And our biggest opportunity is interpreting. Okay. Not going to go too much further into that, because these aspects become part of the roadmap. It becomes part of that journey for the organization, and we want to be a part of that. Once you've gone through your initial assessment and you've got questions, we highly encourage you to schedule an AI readiness strategy session. Talk about this. Work this out. Go deeper with a LAIR AI readiness review. Highly recommended. It interprets what your score means for your organization. Each organization is different. It really is. We'll cover your top strengths, risks, and even include a written executive summary written by Dr. Metter himself. That's always a plus. At least I like to think so. And a prioritized action plan that you can act on immediately. I want to stress that. It's something that you can address and act upon immediately. So it's encouraged that you pick up and you schedule that 30-minute call. To look at our dimension, that framework across the scores, you see the scores. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not necessarily about the score. It's about whether the organization understands where it's at. It understands where it's at. And we can identify through conversations and a game plan, building out a roadmap. The ground map to build that roadmap out is right here on the screen that you're looking at. And it's that LAIR framework. I hope you got a little something out of today. I'll be taking questions. Please reach out. You're going to, on the video, you will notice that there will be links and things of that nature. I highly encourage you to go in and just check your readiness. Are you AI ready? I know that we can get there. I've come across a lot of high-speed organizations, a lot of high-speed leaders. We're emerging. Let's shift to ready. Thanks for being here.